What we have to anticipate with silver might appear as a drawback, but in absolute truth, it will prepare us for quite a prospect. I'll clarify as we delve deeper. Now, what's upcoming for silver? Well, it relies on what your time horizon is. I think in the coming several weeks, we're probably going to witness the value of silver stabilize. And why is that? Because the silver markets are stabilizing. That's correct. Yet it will grant us a chance to utilize these moments to obtain a bit more silver in the span that we're discussing here. Now, my associates at Summit Metals, they trade silver. They also repurchase it from you as well. They're an excellent firm, among the fastest expanding out there. And I would advise that before you purchase any silver from anywhere, you should conduct your own investigation and analysis because timing the markets can be extremely challenging. In truth, it's nearly unattainable, honestly. I believe in consistent cost investing, not purchasing from panic or based on what anyone claims online, including this channel, which is sponsored by a bullion merchant. You must make those judgments for yourself. Absorb and analyze all the data you can from any source before you buy or before you sell, in my opinion. By the way, I created a video on vending silver too. When is the suitable time to sell silver? I'll include a link to that at the conclusion screen of this video. But as of the recording of this video, we just passed through another session of a crushing strike to silver's valuations. And I'm filming this in the overnight exchanges here. And thus far they appear to be steadying slightly, though not by much. Nevertheless, we are in a position now where we are going to begin to notice additional consolidation in the prices. And there's a solid explanation for that, because the silver trade itself is stabilizing after a historic surge of unbound silver inundated London repositories. Prices are prepared to pull back, with speculation and easing Indian demand possibly steering silver downward toward, wait for it, $1.40 per ounce. Now, if you viewed my video, my market analysis from yesterday or the day prior to this recording, you'll recognize that I referenced $40 silver. This is recent research that I just encountered that's been publicized by FXStreet from TD Securities senior commodity analyst Gali. And so it's somewhat intriguing that we're aligned on this. And I calculated my estimate before I examined this report. Now, silver trades are stabilizing, mirroring the single greatest surge of unbound metal entering London repositories since the initiation of the data that was tracking this. So, we're beginning to observe metal flowing into the London markets once again, and there's no longer a crisis. Although, it'll be fascinating to see what those statistics are when they're formally released. But we have witnessed prolonged periods where it's been perilously minimal, but not crisis-level minimal like what we experienced after the tariff threats. Many believe that would impact precious metals. Any sort of reaction now to any tariffs influencing precious metals is merely hysteria at this stage. But regardless, I think we might see it recur, and it will be illogical because Trump has stated that he's not going to impose tariffs on silver or gold. The silver trades no longer require increasing and heightened valuations to motivate metal to replenish London repositories from unconventional origins. Even so, Indian demand is likewise easing following the Reserve Bank of India's interference. Ultimately, spot valuation will fight to reclaim the vital $50 per ounce threshold, and I concur with that evaluation too, because it has been quite a challenge to even reach $50 per ounce through what we experienced previously. But once it arrived there, $1.49, it just surged right up to nearly $55 per ounce. Well, $54.50 precisely was the peak for silver, the nominal summit. And I do think we're going to attain that again, but it likely probably won't occur until next year, particularly after what we're witnessing right now, especially with Indian demand also diminishing because the Diwali celebration is now over, and so there's not going to be as much demand until the upcoming season. Now remember, celebratory happenings and cultural demand are cyclical in India, but India is a key participant in the tangible silver trade. I think the top regarding per capita, it's an intensely dense nation. It's a heavily populated nation. And so, it doesn't astonish me that we'd see immense demand for silver and to put strain on the trades, particularly in an already pressured market that we're observing here. Nonetheless, $40 silver is nothing to sneer at. That's quite decent, I would remark, particularly if they're now presuming that the unsuccessful breakout can now spark large-scale withdrawals from speculators. We believe silver can now exchange back to $40 per ounce in exactly the same global circumstance. In other words, there remain numerous diverse elements that are going to sustain silver elevated to that $40 per ounce. That's fundamentally the floor, is what they're asserting there. That is the support level. That's exceptionally positive news when you contemplate it, even though it is somewhat a bearish projection in the short term. But nevertheless, they don't specify what it's going to accomplish next year. By the way, they're merely declaring that we're beginning to see normalization in the trade. By the way, that normalization is in 2 of the 3 very vital markets for silver. I haven't referenced the third yet. The reason why is because it is, I won't say it's insignificant, but it is more of a prolonged strategy with this third market, which I'm going to address probably in a separate video. So, stay tuned for that. I hinted at that in my earlier video, but I'm waiting for some additional figures to arrive to determine if there's any kind of pattern there, but it is something we should absolutely monitor, no question about it. So, they assume that silver can now exchange back to $40 per ounce within the situation that we're currently in. What is that? That was before the tariff warning, before the silver began streaming into New York. Well, it is geopolitics. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is still ongoing, still somewhat a delicate condition in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip, and also with Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah in the West Bank. There remain a few flashpoints out there in the Middle East. And we also have Iran, which isn't the danger that they once were, but still there is some unease there. We have China and Taiwan and the geopolitical strains that are unfolding there. South China Sea, there are other distinct zones, and so there's still plenty occurring globally. And there's still de-dollarization happening. There are still central banks collecting gold. And yes, them acquiring gold is going to assist silver at least to some extent. The gold to silver proportion is elevated, but it could be significantly higher, certainly. No doubt regarding that. It's trading at 85 presently, 85.1, but there it is. So, likely we're going to notice something akin to this transpire, with silver trading within this band for a stretch of time now. And then I think afterward, I believe we're going to see it ascend again. Now, I could be mistaken. We could see it stabilize even further. There are numerous different aspects that are entering the picture. I think, even with the reduced interest rates that are forthcoming, the 2 that are approaching, that are practically a definite event. They may not exert the same influence on precious metal valuations that they had previously, though it doesn't signify that they're going to decline substantially either. I think if anything, it's going to strengthen that foundation for silver, and I think that a fairly potent matter. I think honestly that's likely one of the finest things we can wish for. And by the way, a sort of gradual climb back upward in a northern direction when silver valuations move up to 41, 42, 45 again. If we do bottom out at 40, hopefully it'll be a bit more of a wholesome move upward and not so abrupt like what we witnessed before, reinforcing new support. That's correct. But you know, that's what I'm envisioning transpire with silver unfolding. But I'd be extremely interested to see what your perspectives are on that. I think in the meantime, that does present some purchasing possibilities on the decline if we're still going to observe consolidation down to that $40 threshold. I would be astonished if it dropped beneath $40 per ounce to some degree, though we might see dips into the 39 and 38 range. But I don't think we're going to witness it decline much lower than that. But I think we should anticipate now valuations to be reduced for a bit, but I don't think it's going to be by much. So therefore, I'm a possessor of silver through it all. I believe in holding on through the prosperous periods and the tough ones and everything in between. And yes, I still might even acquire some, yes indeed, with some of these. So, let me know what your opinions are on silver and what you think is occurring next with silver. Or do you believe I'm totally mistaken? Let me know in the comment area below. Hope you found this video enlightening, perceptive, and instructive. Would like to extend immense appreciation to you all for allocating the time to watch, and urge you to kindly rate, share, comment, and subscribe.